This is how it's going to be. We will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period. There should be nothing unambiguous about that. Don't make us treat you like a criminal. But if you act like a criminal and you violate the law and you refuse to do what is necessary to save lives in the city in the middle of a pandemic, we will take you to jail. Period.
Fuck Clarence Thomas.
Oh. Fuck you, Clarence Thomas!
He thinks we are going to stand idly by when they take our rights, our right to marry, our right to have children, our right to live.
All right, this is a Fox News alert I think most of you here and at home are going to like. Big news from Chicago and the mayoral race, with 87% of the vote now reporting incumbent Mayor Lori Lightfoot is losing by a significant margin. She is now in third place behind two other Democrats with only 16% of the vote. Now, keep in mind, with no majority, this race will head to a runoff between the top two candidates. Right now, she's in position number 3, as you can see. So we got to pull for Brandon Johnson. So sort of like, let's go, Brandon.
Look at what's happening to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She is being kicked out of being the mayor of Chicago, and hopefully they finish the job because she doesn't deserve that position. She ruined that city with crime, and Buckhead is fed up with it.
I'm hoping she gets her ass kicked tonight and loses. I really am. Sorry, I'm just being honest.
Me too.
Let me ask you this. I think this is...
All right, guys, so down goes Lori Lightfoot. Down goes Lori Lightfoot. She has officially lost her re-election bid for mayor of Chicago after a disastrous 4 years that has been characterized by lockdowns, crime, gang violence, murders every single weekend. This woman has been an absolute disaster. But hey, you know, I believe she was Chicago's first openly LGBTQ lesbian mayor, okay? And she just so happened, according to her, to have the biggest penis, right, in Chicago. But it seems like that penis size didn't really help her out too much with being reelected, as, again, she has officially lost in her race to be reelected as mayor of the city. Now, again, you know, we can kind of celebrate this because Lori Lightfoot is, you know, a bad person, right? She's just not a good human being. She's a terrible leader. She's a terrible politician. She doesn't think the law applies to her. I mean, like, she was like overtly like breaking the law, right? I mean, she was basically a criminal, right, running the city. But it's not like Chicago is going to, you know, elect anybody that's better, okay? It's most likely they're probably going to elect somebody that's worse. But who knows? I don't know, okay? All I know is that Lori Lightfoot is now officially out, okay? She has lost her bid for re-election. I'm going to miss making videos about old Lori Lightfoot, but who knows? Maybe the Biden administration will give her a job, right? I'm pretty sure he probably will end up giving her a job. I think that Biden gave Atlanta's failed mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, which is a hell of a name, gave her a job, okay, as a propagandist. So who knows, okay? She'll probably get picked up by the Biden administration because they're always looking for more woke diversity and inclusion hires. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a listen at Lori Lightfoot's concession speech. Take a look.
So let me just do this. So thank you and thank everyone so much. I feel a lot of love in this room, as I've felt every step of the way on this journey. I've called Brandon Johnson and Paul Vallis to congratulate them on their victories in advancing to the runoffs. We were fierce competitors in these last few months, but I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor to deliver for the people of the city for years to come.
Class act, baby.
Thank you. 4 years ago, I looked into the camera and spoke directly to young people of color who look like me and to every kid who felt like I did when I grew up. And I'm going to do that again tonight.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Of course, she got to pull the race card into the end, right? Well, you know, I did this for black and brown people. You see what? Right? To see what? To see you lose. Okay, you're racist. Right? You're racist. Okay, you remember when she banned or she didn't let non-black journalists or non-journalists of color interview her, right? You remember that? Okay, she also basically removed a white journalist's credentials because he asked her tough questions.
Thank you very much. Mayor Lightfoot, I can totally understand why you would think another $100 million in grants would buy you the votes necessary to win re-election. But the business experts and...
This is okay, folks. This is what he's like. He works for a right-wing news organization, and he does this kind of stuff all the time. You feel free. Go ahead, sir.
The business experts and the crime experts that I talk to say that downtown Chicago has already reached the tipping point. You have...
Get your questions, sir. We go through this every single time that you come.
The Palmer House...
I don't need a speech. What I need is your question. If you're going to ask a question,
absolutely,
ask it. If you're not going to ask it, then we're going to be done and take a picture.
The Palmer House is already in foreclosure. Other historic downtown hotels, foreclosure. We have business owners that are shortening their hours because their workers are afraid to work after dark. You went on a taxpayer-funded This is a very important question. It's a very important question. Chicagoans are asking me to ask you.
Or we're going to move on.
Absolutely.
You don't get to give a 5-minute speech.
Well,
every single time.
I've sat here for an hour or two listening to speeches. I don't understand why. This is a question that the people of Chicago want to ask.
Ask the question, or we're turning off your mic.
Absolutely.
Ask the question.
Right. You went on a taxpayer-funded business trip to Paris, a party in Paris with your donors.
Please ask your question, William.
What is the actual plan now? Okay, we have crime is up, arrests are down, suicides, police suicides spiking. What is your plan? Finally, at long last, what is your plan to stop violent crime?
Let me respond.
Please.
Sir,
and then I have a follow-up.
Every single time that you come, and I'm not going to let you tell that lie.
Yeah, so she revoked that guy's press credentials, right? She said, no, you can't ask me tough questions anymore, because he would do this thing where he would give context to the questions that he's asking, right? He would basically go through a laundry list of how effed up Chicago is before asking Lori Lightfoot a question. And she hated it. She absolutely hated it. Again, this woman got so desperate. I think she told people at the end, right before the election, if they don't vote for her, then don't vote at all. Which, by Democrat standards, right, by their definition, is textbook voter suppression.
If you want them controlling your fate and your destiny, then stay home. Then don't vote.
On the heels of suggesting Southside voters stay home if they don't vote for her, Mayor Lori Lightfoot voted in person today. CBS 2's Andrew Ramos was there. Andrew, how did she explain that comment?
Well, Jim, the mayor simply acknowledged that she misspoke. Just going back on your remarks from Saturday, in terms of just telling people not to vote if they're not going to vote for you. Any regret right now? Because
so I'm going to say it again. If you look at what I've consistently said, everywhere that I've gone, I encourage people, I frankly beg them to participate in our democracy, to vote. So if I misspoke, then I misspoke. But I'm very clear everywhere, and again today, people need to vote, no matter who they're voting for.
Yeah, so as you saw there, this woman was just screwing up until the end, right? She screwed up the city when it come to crime. I mean, it's always been screwed up when it came to crime, but she made it even worse, right? She didn't make it better, and she's, basically screwed up at the end and telling people, specifically black people, don't vote if they're not going to vote for her, okay? So, again, she lost. So let's read a little bit about it, and then we're going to go from there. Mayor Lori Lightfoot of Chicago lost her bid for a second term on Tuesday, the Associated Press said, a resounding defeat that reflected widespread dissatisfaction from voters over her handling of crime and policing in the nation's third largest city. 4 years ago, Miss Lightfoot made history as the first black woman to be elected mayor of Chicago when she swept all 50 of the city wards, but she saw her popularity plunge during the coronavirus pandemic as Chicago suffered a spike in violent crime, with looting and destruction on its famed Magnificent Mile in 2020. Yeah, she said that, hey, those weren't race riots, right? It's unfair to characterize that as race riots, right? The two candidates to emerge from Tuesday's first round of voting, Paul Vallis, a former public schools executive, and Brandon Johnson, a county board commissioner, will advance to a runoff election on April 4th. The race showcased the political divide that has emerged in some of America's largest, most liberal cities, where hard-on crime policies have increasingly resonated with voters. Yeah, because they don't like crime, right? They don't like defund the police. They don't like the stuff that, Democrats have been pushing. The contest for mayor is now narrowed to two candidates with starkly different views on policing and education. Mr. Vallis has portrayed Chicago as being in a state of turmoil under Ms. Lightfoot's leadership. With an endorsement from the local Fraternal Order of Police, he has run an aggressive campaign arguing that he can make the city safer, calling for bolstering the police force, improving arrest rates for serious crimes, and expanding charter schools. Yeah, I mean, so this guy's still a Democrat, but, he's campaigning like a Republican, right? Again, kind of reminds me of Eric Adams in New York, okay, who campaigned like that, but then as soon as he got elected, he turned into a far-left woke progressive. So who knows what these people actually really mean? Again, all these guys are Democrats. They're all probably far-left. The city nearly is in crisis, and people want a crisis manager who can come in and focus on getting things done, Mr. Vallis said after casting his ballot in an elementary school gym on the South Side on Tuesday. Mr. Johnson, a 46-year-old, a former educator who was endorsed by the Chicago's teacher union, staked out a position to the left of Ms. Lightfoot, at one point suggesting that he agreed with the movement to reduce funding to police departments, though he later backtracked. Yeah. So again, this is the type of people they're voting for here. They just don't like Lightfoot anymore, right? So even if you're a far left progressive, okay, and you agree with defunding the police, you can still get votes, right? As long as you're just not Lightfoot, right? Again, apparently having the biggest penis in Chicago while being a lesbian, doesn't really help out all that much, right? So again, down goes Lightfoot. The only reason I feel even slightly bad is because I'm not gonna be able to make fun of her anymore, right? She was very easy to poke fun of and to make videos about. I don't think that the next Chicago mayor will be as entertaining, but hey, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.